Hello everybody, it's Clay on the Trail, and I am back in my shop for what will be my third ammo can stove build. If you haven't caught my other builds, I started with a 50 caliber ammo can, went to a 20 millimeter ammo can, and this is the one I used on my first hot tent camp, and I really loved it. I thought it was going to be too much heat. So I got, like the medium size. I got a small and a big and then the medium. I figured this one would be just right. We'll probably keep using this one, but since I bought this one, I'm going to build this and I will give them all a fair shake. So if you haven't caught the building of these two stoves, go back and check them out. I have been sitting looking at this for quite a while trying to figure it out. I got to put a door in here somewhere. I actually contemplated, doing a side door on these, but these have this metal stiffeners on the side, and I just don't like the idea of doing a big old side door. You'd either have to do it the full length of the door, something that opened up where you could put logs in and close it, or, put them in and then slide them over, and I just don't like the idea of that. So I will be removing the handle, and then also I need to keep from this little piece right here up. I'll be having to take this bottom section off. This section down here is held on by 10 spot welds, and it's pretty simple to take them off. You just drill them out, and then I can go back over them with my welder and fill the holes back in. And then I'm going to have to cut a section of this off, which is going to make it very difficult. The reason I make these so long is for the leverage. But the first thing I did do, as I told you in my second video, is take out the rubber gasket. If you don't take the rubber gaskets out, they will melt the first time you burn these in, and they smell horrible. So make sure you do that. But in taking the rubber gasket off, it allows the lid to sit just a little bit lower, and it doesn't require quite as much leverage. So when I cut this off, I still should be able to pop the top on. All right, handle cut off, door drawn out. Just a matter of, we'll partially cut the door, we'll weld the hinges on, and then we'll finish cutting the door out. Hinges welded on, door cut out. I built a different style latch yet again. It's just a simple hook. I built it out of just a hardware strap I got at my local Ace. Cut it in half, rounded the corners. I cut into one of the eye holes for the notch. Got her all bolted on. I'll be working on I am still trying to figure out where to put the air holes, the ventilation holes on the front of this. So I started working on a pipe collar. I want to get this to where I can burn the paint off of it today. So I just took a piece of this sheet metal, tacked it together, cut the bottom, bent it out. I will cut a hole in the lid and then bring it up through the bottom like I did on my bigger stove. This one I just tack welded to the top. But I like to know that my chimney pipe is going to be held secure. There we are installed. Gives it a nice seal around where I cut. And that'll give to a nice transition to the pipe. So I am just going to go burn this and see if I can get rid of some of the paint. and then we'll work on air vent and legs. We got a good burn going on. You can see the paint coming off the sides. I just loaded it full of good small stuff, so it'll burn good and hot and quick. And then I'll take a wire brush to it, clean it off to the metal, and work on some next steps. I decided to go with a really simple air vent. I also added these round rod legs, just welded a bracket on the side. I bent them. I built a, if you can see it here, the template, and then I just laid everything down, and you just bend it over and up and make it the right shape. And I make the bars bend in just a little bit, so you have to stretch them out to put it in, and that way they kind of spring in and go. When you pick it up, the legs don't fall out. Pretty simple. I also tacked my collar in. It didn't burn as well as I wanted to. There's sort of a baffle built in on these lids that keeps the direct heat from hitting the top, which will help hold heat longer at night and make a more even heat. But I don't want to smell burning paint, so I'm trying to figure if I need to run a wire wheel and get all the paint off of it, or we'll see how it burns. The next step is to actually put a baffle in to make the smoke come from the fire up and over to the pipe and come up. I will probably try to attach it to this lid also. I like that feature on my last stove I made. So that will be the next step. I ended up not being able to attach this baffle to the lid because of the existing baffle. There was nowhere to weld it to that had any sort of flat surface. This piece here is at an angle, and this piece here is at an angle, and with my door cord in there to seal it, I just bent this all in here, and it just friction fits really tight. I am going to weld it in. I thought about not welding it in place because you can pop that piece out and it's very easy to dump, but I have this whole, like, I did it in thirds. So there's a third of a spot here where you can tip everything out and get all the ashes and stuff out of here. What I don't want is this to get super hot and warp and then fall in while I'm burning it. So a couple quick welds and I'm going to light this thing up. You can see this is melting the snow in a big circle around it. I've had this running for about an hour and a half. I'm able to, keep my air adjusted, and then I also have the flue adjusted pretty tight to keep the longevity of the burn. I am finally starting to burn the paint on the top, and I had burned this section down here pretty good. I've got the front burning now, so this is turning out to be a good stove. I did only tack my collar on two sides, and it swivels. I'm gonna have to tack two more sides to give it a solid base. Other than that, this is clean it up and paint it, and this one is ready for use. I burned off all the paint of this, and this stove, it burns pretty well under the circumstances. It's kind of a medium size stove compared, to the ones that I've made before. But this had some issues to it that I just didn't like. So I didn't end up painting it. I'm not sure. I'll keep it. I'll have it as a backup or a spare, but this will for sure not be my go-to stove. One of the things that I really disliked about it is in order to have any room for a door, I had to cut 90% of this handle off that holds the top on. So it's kind of just wedged in there and snapped in. I would sure hate to be in my tent and have something go wrong and me grab this thing and the whole thing fall apart. I could weld a bolt on there and stick a handle on it, something you could put a little lever down but then twist out of the way. But again, I'm not sure this is going to be my go-to stove. So but it works good. You can hold almost 16-inch long logs. It's 10 inches tall, so you can stuff it up full. You'd probably get a good 3-hour burn with bigger material in this stove. So it had enough other problems that I just don't care for this ammo can. So that's going to be it for this. Again, this is a 40mm rocket ammo can. Made a good stove. It's a good size. If if the other one's too big, the other one's too small, this one will be just right. There's just a couple things I'd want to do differently on it. So thank you for coming along. Please give me a thumbs up, like my video, share, subscribe to my channel, and adventure on.